My pile of shame is sitting in that corner and yelling at me because, try as I may, I keep replaying Horizon Zero Dawn or God of War because starting a new game is just too much sometimes, don't you think? Especially when I know how long it's going to take me to complete said game. This list is yet another form of procrastination from tackling my backlog and will simultaneously terrify me when I realise that some of the games I need to play are in this very list. And just a heads up, if you think we're going to be mentioning The Witcher 3, which clocks in at 190 hours, or Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which was massive and takes 209 hours to complete, then you really have no idea what's coming because those numbers are tiny compared to what's coming up. These games take at least almost 400 hours to complete, and I was surprised by one franchise in particular making repeated appearances. But before I give the game away, quite literally, let's get started. Here are the 6 longest games people have actually finished. Morrowind came out almost 2 decades ago, but if you're looking for an RPG that will swallow you whole and spit you out, despite its age, Morrowind is it. Sure, it might be the quickest game to complete on this list, but it still clocks in at a massive 397 hours to retire utterly from your backlog. In fact, if you play it in a chill manner without being fussed about time, according to How Long to Beat, it'll take closer to the 700-hour mark to tick off. I've spent some time with Morrowind, and this does not surprise me at all because Morrowind doesn't hand you anything on a plate. You don't have the usual Skyrim and Oblivion compass at your beck and call, so you have to crack out the old orienteering skills to get to a quest, which means following directions NPCs give you and using landmarks and deductive thinking to find the right location. That alone takes up a chunk of time, as if you go the wrong way, you gotta get back on the right track and actually immerse yourself in your surroundings. No blindly following an arrow into the distance, no siree. There's loads to play with in Morrowind 2 that'll add to your playtime, like tweaking your own custom spells and enchantments to your heart's desire. The rarity of fast travel options means that you're nudged into exploring the world as you go from point A to point B. And you know what more exploration means? More distraction. Which, to be honest, is my test of a good RPG, so you'll hear no complaining from me.
When Zoe asked me to write something about beating Animal Crossing, I got really excited because after nigh on a year of thinking up animal puns for my Animal Crossing popularity lists, I'd like nothing more than to toe punt this bloody game right out of the window. But then she told me what she actually meant was how long it took to complete the game, and now I'm kind of sad. The Animal Crossing featured in this list is the original Animal Crossing for the GameCube though, which, with an average of 606 hours for full completion, will take you almost double the amount of time it would take you to fully complete New Horizons. The average full completion time for that game is around 350 hours. Although, after spending countless months listening to Blathers say the same old crap each and every time I try to speak to him, it now feels like it takes about 10 years just to get him to appraise one lousy fossil. Animal Crossing games are supposed to be played at a leisurely pace, mind. Dropping in and out for an hour or so each day to do something nice for someone or decorate a bit of your house is meant to be quite a chilled experience, so the act of rushing through the game, trying to complete and unlock every last little detail, seems to me to be a little bit counterproductive to what the developers may have intended. But even if you do take your time with Animal Crossing on the GameCube, you will still at some point unlock everything in the game, and this, according to the internet, will take you about 828 hours. I'm still going to kick this one out of the window though.
Now, I've never actually played Candy Crush, but it's always kind of struck me as one of those games that people just poke absentmindedly at when they're on a train journey, or sitting in a doctor's office, or a third mundane activity. Sitting on the toilet. Sitting on the toilet. At the height of its popularity, Candy Crush was utterly inescapable in pop culture, but to me, it never seemed like the kind of game that inspired the dedication to actually complete it, if indeed it could be completed. Well, it turns out I was very wrong, because of course there are people out there who have gotten through every single one of Candy Crush's literal thousands upon thousands of levels. And all it took them was, about 792 hours of leisure play, just... yeah, crushing those candies. What was that noise I just made? In 2019, it was recorded that Candy Crush players had spent 73 billion hours, that's 8.3 million years, playing Candy Crush Saga since its launch in 2012. And players have swiped a total distance of 167 million miles in the game. That's enough swipes to travel from the Earth to Mars 5 times. Look, I may not understand any of this, but I can respect it. Candy Crush is one of those games that appeal to our reptile brain reward center. It's made to perfectly occupy those moments of downtime that people find themselves with throughout the day. It's not really made to be completed, but, as ever, give people a challenge and they will step up. And just... jab those jellies? That's a thing people do in this game, right? What am I doing?
Now, I'm not 100% sure that a game that takes almost 500 hours to fully complete should be allowed to have the word freedom in its title, but nevertheless, this next one certainly does. Monster Hunter games aren't exactly known for their brevity, but with an average full completion time of 496 hours, Monster Hunter Freedom for the PSP will give you plenty of handheld entertainment if you need to pass the time on public transport. But if you're anything like me, and I suspect that maybe you are, you'll do the majority of your handheld gaming whilst you're sat on the loo. Never ask to borrow my Switch. Oh, nutty. So I did a bit of research, and according to the internet, most people spend an average of 145 minutes every week on the toilet. That adds up to just under 21 minutes of toilet time per day, according to my maths, which means that perhaps some people may need to eat a bit more fibre or something. Still, if you take that 21 minute a day figure as gospel, it works out that you will need to take an incredible 1,417 poops in order to fully complete Monster Hunter Freedom. Oh, crikey! I don't think I'm ever going to be able to look my palico in the eye again after learning that fact. Oh well, back to work, I guess.
Yes, 2013's Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate on the Wii U is the second Monster Hunter game to appear in this list, and for a good reason. You'll have to pour in 610-ish hours if you want to beat it. It's beefed out with plenty of additional content from the original 2010 Monster Hunter 3 game on the Wii. New multiplayer area, revamped single-player campaign, new monsters, which all adds up to more fighting, skinning, and crafting time. Whenever things are getting a bit too repetitive for you, there's the option to switch up your weapon and master an entirely new hunting style, which also racks those hours up. Take the game down the multiplayer route and you'll be beefing up your hunter rank, unveiling new and more dangerous quests as you get more experienced. More dangerous quests equals more prep time, more practice as you get used to hunting your new quarry, and a burning desire for more, better armour. Look, I had to fit more in somehow. Like in other Monster Hunter games, crafting stronger armour is an entire quest/mini-campaign in itself, as you need to hunt specific monsters and gather specific resources to get better armour. And you know what that takes? Time. Lots and lots of time.
I've mentioned this a few times on the channel before, but I have spent a not insignificant portion of my life playing World of Warcraft. 6 years, to be exact. This was a long time ago, and I didn't quit for any particular reason except life just moved on. But I distinctly remember one of the last times I logged into the game. I checked how many hours I'd spent in Azeroth. It was well over 1,000. Now, that is not nothing, and I enjoyed all of the time I spent with my amazing Night Elf Druid. But neither is 1,000 hours anywhere close to how long it would take to quote-unquote finish WoW. It's not the kind of game you play to complete, of course, but if you were aiming to experience all of the story-based content in the vanilla base game and all of its expansions, aside from Shadowlands, that process would take you approximately 2,955 hours and 15 minutes on average. The longest recorded time it's taken anyone to complete all of that content is a whopping 6,238 hours and 18 minutes. Just shy of 260 straight days. That is not the kind of time that most people just happen to have going spare, but then again, many WoW players will have spread their playtime over the course of the 17 years the game has been out. Yep, you heard that correctly. WoW is 17 years old. It's evolved and changed so much that it's unlikely new players in 2021 would plan or even want to play all of its legacy content. But just so you know, it might take you just a little while to catch up if you do. You can tell that I'm being truthful, because my voice is way up here.
And that's 6 of the longest games that people have somehow finished. If you liked the video, thanks very much, and don't forget to like and subscribe to Eurogamer as we have a new video out every single day, so there's always something to watch. Make sure to follow us on Instagram too, at Team Eurogamer, to get sneak peeks behind the scenes and updates on our upcoming videos. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go and play some more Morrowind and test my orienteering skills, so I'll see you next time.